Good afternoon, everyone. Let me talk about the last part of our report in the dynamics of organizational and human behavior, which is the trends in organization that will affect business in the next decade. The fast changing condition in the global arena and the introduction of modern technology greatly affect the conduct of the business in the next decade. The outsourcing of marketing system to our country could be a favorable move to the increase in opportunity for Pinoy who could talk better the language of the business where they are assigned. We have two trends in our book, but then I had to make some amendments because I think na mas maganda pag on track tayo with the pandemic now and then the post-pandemic, still nasa during pandemic pa naman tayo. So let me talk about at least, I believe this is six or seven. Oh yeah, six trends in organization today, 2020, na makaka-affect din in the future decade. First one, we have the increase in remote working. When we say remote working, this includes our work from home or flexi din siya, katulad ng paano natututong mga estudyante ngayon. Pero when it comes to remote working, there have been many predictions that the COVID-19 pandemic would permanently change the world of work, just like you and me. According to a new global survey, that's just what has happened, with a majority of people across the world saying they want to keep working flexibly from home, of course, given the opportunity. An Ipsos survey for the World Economic Forum among 12,500 employed people in 29 countries found that a majority want flexible working to become the norm. And almost a third, or 30%, said they would consider looking for another job if they were forced to go back to the office full time. So napakalaking epekto ng work from home schedule natin dun sa mga katulad kong nabibigyan ng work from home, depende sa organization natin, na magiging epekto ito after the pandemic. Kasi many opt to work from home. Syempre na naman, given the situation with our families, na mas maganda na nandun tayo, mas safe, ganyan. As organizations shift to more remote work operations, explore the critical competencies employees will need to collaborate digitally and be prepared to adjust employee experience strategies, and consider whether and how to shape performance goal setting and employee evaluations for a remote context. So, kailangan ng napakalaking changes within the organization if most people want this. Of course, syempre naman, what the individuals in an organization wants, sometimes yun yung mas nagiging prefer natin ng whole organization. Pag-aaralan natin yan when it comes to napag-aralan pala natin within the individual changes, group changes, and organizational changes. Another, number two, expanded data collection. Gartner analysis shows that 16% of employers are using technologies more frequently to monitor their employees through methods such as virtual clocking in and out, tracking work computer usage, and monitoring employee emails or internal communications or chat. While some companies track productivity, others monitor employee engagement and well-being to better understand employee. Yan, 16%. 16% ang nakikita natin dito. Kaso lang, hindi pa siya ganun ka-applicable in the Philippines. Some part of the Philippines, which I believe, hindi pa siya ganun ka-techy, kumbaga, to work on this data collection. Kasi nga, when yung sabi natin kanina, remote working or work from home, mas mahirap nga namang i-monitor ang ating organization. But it depends on the organization's effectivity when it comes to technology for the expanded data collection, which I think is better naman. Kasi magiging trend talaga to sooner or later na everything's going to be AI, everything's going to be advanced with our conditions. Or kasi nagkaroon ng prompt dahil sa pandemic to really adjust ourselves to the rapidly changing or shifting environment when it comes to technology. More on this data collection. Even before the pandemic, organizations were increasingly using non-traditional employee monitoring tools. But the HR trend will be accelerated by new monitoring of remote workers and collection of employee health and safety data. Ang magiging question mark kasi dito is when it comes to privacy. How secure is this collection of data? Lalo na online. Online ang dami ng nahahack. Sa Facebook ang daming nahahack, 'di ba? So medyo question mark pa to. Medyo question mark pa to. Number 3, contingent worker expansion. What is contingent? When we say contingent, minsan ginagamit natin ito sa plan, di ba? Contingent plan. So, kung hindi nag-work si plan A, punta tayo sa contingent plan, si plan B. Let's see what this has to tell us. The economic uncertainty of the pandemic has caused many workers to lose their jobs and expose others for the first time to non-standard work models. Many organizations responded to the pandemic's economic impact by reducing their contractor budgets, but there has since been a shift. Okay, just like me, I'm a contingent worker. When we say contingent worker, ito po ating mga contractual. And if you're contractual, just like me, you will relate to this one kasi kahit na sinasabi natin na sana malis na ang mga contractual or sana mabawasan na yung mga or madagdagan ba yung mga benefits ng mga katulad kong contractual. Pero dahil sa pandemic, because of the trend we're having right now, many more companies, private companies, are working on contractuals because it is easier to manage since there is no employer-employee relationship. And if this is the case, minsan hindi talaga siya maiiwasan. Pero for me, as of now, I find it a blessing kasi I had this JO job or a job order JO nung panahon na nag-start yung pandemic. But for the long term, hindi talaga siya effective, lalo na pag talagang hirap ang mga businesses ngayon. So it has been a trend in an organization. And you will find it a disadvantage for the organization na papalit-palit ang mga workers nito. Number 4, expanded employer role as social safety net. Ano ba yung social safety net na sinasabi natin? The pandemic has increased the trend of employers playing an expanded role in their employees' financial, physical, and mental well-being. Support includes enhanced sick leave, financial assistance, adjusted hours of operation, and child care provisions. Some organizations supported the community by, for instance, shifting operations to manufacturing goods or providing services to help combat the pandemic and offering community relief funds and free community services. So, hindi na lang tayo basta employer lang, but we have been a social safety net to make sure the overall capability of our organization when it comes to financial, physical, and mental well-being. Lalo na pag work from home. Very crucial dito. Kunwari, nasa bahay tayo, tapos we are working, sino po magbabayad ng kuryente natin? Hindi naman siya usually binabayaran ng company. Diba? Katulad ko, di naman binabayaran ng company. Pero, yun yung disadvantage niya. Although meron tayong social benefit when it comes to family support, ganyan, sa mga kasama ang family. Pero dun sa mga nag-iisa, sa mga single dyan, yan. So, physical, tapos yung mental pa natin. Yung mental capability natin. Yan. That's for the expanded employer role as a social safety net. That's number 4. Number 5. Yan. The humanization of employees. Wow. What a word. While some organizations have recognized the humanitarian crisis of the pandemic and prioritized the well-being of employees as people over employees as workers. Others have pushed employees to work in conditions that are high risks with little support, treating them as workers first and people second. Ito po yung hirap natin this time around, no? Na we were trained to be employers to work, diba? To work. Kasi yun nga naman ang point ng ating pagtatrabaho. Pero, ang magiging trend ngayon is that work muna bago sarili. Ang hirap nun. Ang hirap na ngayon yan. Pero, we would like to change that attitude. Kasi nga dahil sa crisis, we were trained to be humane sa situations natin. If a person has COVID or if he's experiencing sickness or family problems, 'di ba? So, ngayon, ang magiging challenge 'yan in the post-pandemic when it comes to priorities of our employees, especially to those with no employer-employee relationship, sa mga walang sick leaves, sa mga less ang mga opportunities in the organization. Number 6, increase in organization complexity. When I say complexity, being flexible in our working areas. After the global financial crisis, global M&A, when we say M&A, mergers and acquisitions po ito, activity accelerated and many companies were nationalized to avoid failure. As the pandemic subsides, there will be a similar acceleration of M&A. Mas madami pa tayong mga magmo-merge ng mga companies. Kasi minsan, pag napabayaan ito, malulugi talaga yung company, especially if it's private. And the nationalization of companies as well. Companies will focus on expanding their geographic diversification and investment in secondary markets to mitigate and manage risk in times of disruption, just like what happened during the pandemic. This rise in complexity of size and organizational management will create challenges for leaders as operating models evolve. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin po, when it comes to, let's say, 5 years from now, less na po yung mga wawatak-watak na organization. Kasi mas naging effective na tayo online. So, little na yung mga physical, kahit na sabihin natin tapos na yung COVID, mababawasan na talaga siya, hindi na talaga siya maiwasan. So, yung mga magkakahiwalay na companies, they would rather combine or merge and then their acquisition to first, syempre mas makakatapid sila. And second, mas maaayos nila yung organization nila within that given company. Example po, 'di ba, I was teaching in Bulacan. Tapos, they have different schools. Sa Bulacan din lang naman. Pero, kumbaga, may mga sister schools sila. So, after the pandemic, dahil online na, they chose to merge their school. So, naging isa na lang siya. Yung mother school, siya na yung natira. While open pa naman yung sister schools, pero dahil online naman na, it's not being utilized as it was before. So, their name has been one na lang. Ganon. So, nagkaroon siya ng merging because of the need to do so. Because of the situation right now. Yan. Next. Ayun. Actually, yun lang siya. Yun lang yung basic mga trends na nangyayari sa atin ngayon. So, if I have to get to review our reports, the contents of our report, starting when it comes to dynamics of the organization. We have the 7 simple paths to change. Human behavior and its environment was also introduced. Types of environmental change. Employees' reaction to organizational change. Basic reasons for change. Steps to organizational change. Managing organizational change. Dynamics of organizational change and trends in organization that will affect organizations in the next decade. Once again, our team is composed of myself, Hennessy Ann V. Mortz, and Ma'am Divina Botale, Jasmine Kayatok, Dennis Felipe, Greg Juliana, Hadasa Joy Kayog, Elizabeth Garcia, and Geraldine Mano Claudio. Maraming salamat po, and here are my references. I'm sorry I cannot be with you today, but thank you so much for still watching my recorded presentation. Thank you so much, Sir Serap. And, yun po. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. God bless. Thank you.